Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Zepp, and ladies and gentlemen, it all ends here. We are on to the final song from the Warning album, the Error album, as we move on to number 14, that is Breathe. Really looking forward to this one. Looking forward to getting into it, getting this album finished so I can give you the full album review in what will probably be after this a couple of weeks' time. I really want to let these songs digest and make sure I don't put a foot wrong in this review, because it could be the last thing we do of the Warning in a while unless we do some live reaction stuff, which again you guys can recommend me. Make sure to recommend me them down in the comments. So yeah, I kind of want to take my time and make sure with these last couple of videos that I do them justice, because the Warning band has, you know, the fan base has been very important to the growth of my channel, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the support you guys have shown me throughout this time of what 6-7 months now of being exposed to the Warning. So it's very, very cool. I'm really looking forward to it. And as of the day of recording this, by the way, Muse are announcing UK tour dates, and which is the beginning of them announcing world tour dates. And I'm really, really hoping that the Warning get on there somewhere as a warm-up band, because they really deserve it. They're a good band who obviously are a fan of Muse, who would snap up the opportunity. I'm sure Muse know of them. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see if they get to do any of their maybe South American tour, sort of would be the warm-up act for the South American tour. That would be really cool. But before we get into the song, folks, you've heard me say it before, but I'm going to say it again. We have an announcement. That is right, folks. The limited edition hoodie is still out. Only 22 left as of the time of recording this. Really, really enjoy the hoodie myself personally. I really love the design. We redesigned the Zepp Zone, or the Zepp logo, for this hoodie, to make it limited edition, to make it like a new logo, an improved upon logo, a limited edition version of the logo, if you will. There's only 25 of these hoodies. Did I say hoodie or headset? If I said headset again, I'm going to be really, really annoyed, because I keep mixing up the two, and then in my head, I don't remember what I said. I think I said hoodie, so I'm going to run with this. But make sure to pick up a hoodie if you want one. There's only a few left, as I said, 22, and that'll be it. That'll be the end of them once that 22 are sold. So if you want to be able to say to yourself you're one of 25 people in the world who own one of these hoodies, then do make sure to pick up one at the link down in the description below and use code ZEPZone for 5% off. And without further ado, folks, let's get into it. The final song of the album, Breathe.
The water's getting way too cold. I thought it learned to keep me warm, but it's reaching down my throat, and it's freezing all my bones still. I try to reach over the endless waves, can't call for help, so I'll just call my name.
Do I hear a clock in the background?
I can hear, I'll just disappear without a trace. Is it so wrong to want to be alright? Perfect in vain, it's the same all the time.
Alright, I'm going to throw a pause in here because it's a shorter song. We can only do one pause. Interesting so far. I will admit, it's intrigued me. It's quite like a subdued ending, which, you know, I dig. I dig. If it's continuing to stay subdued, we will see. But so far, I like it. I mean, there's not much really I can say in it yet. I'm mainly doing the pause again to avoid copyright, but so far it's cool. So far it is cool. It's relatively unique. You know, it's interesting. Like, if you were listening to this and you're one of those people, you may have thought the sounds kind of blend, they sound the same, they don't interest you, but you're listening to the album anyway, and then you heard this at the end, it would perk your ears up, because it's not the same tonally as other things that we've heard in the album. It would interest you. It's interesting to hear this come on after what you've heard previous of them. So I think it's doing a good job at just being an interesting closer. So we're going to run this out until the end, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Reversing sounds in the back.
Try my very best to stay afloat, but there's something down there that just wants me close. And I beg myself to breathe, but there's nothing within reach now. Is it so wrong to want to be alright? Perfect in vain, it's the same all the
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Breathe by The Warning. I fuck with that. I really like that. I really do like that. That's really good. Again, to just get a criticism out of the way early on, so I can focus on the positives, I would have loved if there was more elements to that song coming into the latter half. I think I talked about this, it was either Revenant or Kool-Aid Kids, I don't remember which. I think it was Revenant, about how the build of like it's a 5, 6, 7, oh it's an 8, it needs to explode into a 10, and it just kind of stays at an 8. I think it was a stylistic choice to stay on the piano, so I'm not going to be too critical, but it would have been really cool to see more of those little effects in the background, like the sort of rewinding sound effect it sounded like. It would have been cool if that was a little more present along with some other elements. Again, I referenced the band maybe ever so slightly too much, but say Radiohead, for example, they would do something along the lines of that, where they just add in more elements here and there, and I would have loved there to have been a little explosion of sound just onto the final chorus. If I was to give you a song to kind of reference my idea in terms of sounds and what I mean by sounds, because I'm really shit at describing them, I would look up Real Love Song by Nothing But Thieves alternate edition, the alternate edition they did, and how it's a real play on sounds and effects, and it's slowed down. But I would have liked a little more playing around with those elements if it could. But that's just me kind of dreaming. Ultimately, I think it's a really good song, a really cool stylistic choice to stay with just the piano. The vocals are fantastic. I love the progression. The build, while it may be slight, is still a great build nonetheless. It's a very unique tone to end the album on. It's dramatic. Like I said, I wanted the final 3 songs to really go into a dramatic way, and they did. It went dramatic and Breathe slightly differently than I expected it to, but it did nonetheless. And yeah, I think this Revenant, Martyrio, and Breathe are a god tier trio. Not the same as Evolve, Era, and Z, but they're definitely up there. And I think Disciple, Choke, Evolve, Era, Z, 23, Revenant, Martyrio, and Breathe are all songs that I absolutely dig. This is a good album, very good album, and yeah, I'm going to enjoy making the review on this because there's things I want to delve into a little more in regards to listening to more of the songs that I didn't like and trying to see them from a different perspective, and also wondering will things have grown on me, and also kind of looking at the songs that I've liked and picking them apart a little bit more, and just overall trying to analyze the flow of this album. I think the songs, for just to give an insight, I think the songs were placed very well, considering this is an album I think that doesn't really have any singular theme and is kind of just them trying to write their best stuff and put it on an album. I do think it is paced very well. I like the placement of songs. It doesn't feel like it picks up too much speed at some point then comes down. Evolve, Era, and Z is just middle album fucking glory. You have something like that again on the Muse album Drones. Which Jones' album is a terrible album, by the way. It aged like horribly. It's one of the worst albums, but he had on it, what was it? Was it Mercy, Reapers and Handlers or something along the lines of that? That was just hit. They just hit well. They're great. They're in the center of the album, and you feel right in it, and you're loving where it's going. And that's what those three do. It's a good album, and it's a journey of an album as well. It does feel like a journey when you listen to it, even though there's no specific A to B on it. I dig it. I really enjoy it. I'm really glad to listen to this album. It's 49 minutes. It's not like a massive runtime. There's some, and I think 49 minutes is good because some of these songs could have very easily overstayed their welcome, and they don't. It's like the songs that know that they're fantastic, they stay. Sometimes songs, they know that they're good, but only within that bubble, and they stay. Like if Evolve was a 5-minute song, you'd be like, oh, alright, but it's 3.5 minutes, gets what it needs to do, and it's a fantastic song because of that, and there's a couple of songs in here that are like that. Z as well, only 3 minutes long. The song itself flows very well. Great album. Great album. And I'm really looking forward to putting this review together and talking about the negatives and the positives, because there is negatives, don't get me wrong. I don't think, I see this as their platform to spring forward, but I would like to hazard a guess and say I don't think they're writing their best stuff yet. I think get Tour out of the way under their belt, and we'll really see what they're made of when they come back for the next album. I think, and what I've said, I know a lot of people have kind of been in two halves about what I've said with how I really view this as their first album, because it's a studio album, and it's an album they've written as mostly adults and not kids. But like, I just really see this album as their true beginning on a global stage. And I think, I think everyone will mainly, like, if they get new fans, they'll love them for this album and the albums going forward. It's my opinion, because I do think the Queen of the Murder Scene album has some unique concepts, and as I said before, it has a little more soul in areas than this album might be, but I do think it lacks a little bit of production at times. It lacks a bit of finesse. You can tell it was written by people that were slightly younger. It feels a little all over the place at times while having some very good songs. This album, I think, while there be elements I like more in the other album, I think this album is an improvement overall. And it's good signs, good times to be a fan of The Warning. I truly do believe that. And fingers crossed for a world tour and an Irish date. I'm keeping my fingers crossed anyway. And ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to be notified for when we do the album review. Album reviews don't tend to get pushed out to people who search up reactions as much as just the reactions do. So if you're interested in seeing me do an album review of this in a couple of weeks' time, please make sure to subscribe so you can see when that goes up, because there's no guarantee you'll see it if you just type in Warning reaction or whatever, and usually maybe my face will be there if you're filtering through weeklies, monthlies, whatever. It won't be there if it's a review of the album. So do make sure to subscribe if you want to check that out. And thank you very much for going on this journey with me, folks. I really do appreciate it. I apologize it was so stunted. I've had a lot of things going on. As I said, the Twitch channel is doing very well at the moment, and what I'm doing with gaming and doing the casting, and really making moves and doing something that I'm really enjoying. For those of you who are just kind of interested in how things are going with me, by now I thought I'd have 8 months ago, I thought I'd have wrapped it up because I hadn't made it and I needed to go and sort other things in my life out, but because things have been going so well, I get to keep going. I had just a little while longer, and I'm just really happy with the way it is. And again, that this hoodie release, I hate to bring it back to the hoodie release, is just kind of what you would call a testament to all of that. It's the reason why I'm doing a hoodie release is because I feel like we've been successful enough to do it, and the fact that I was approached to do one. I didn't go out looking for this. I was approached to do it, and yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. I've sort of and with doing something that I love, and it's keeping me busy and it's stressing me out. And there's days I'm thinking, Jesus, I'm not going to be able to do this. There's just so much to focus on. I'm not going to make it. But being involved in it has sort of brought a passion back that I kind of want to filter back into all of my channels. That was really taken away after I got sick. Which is why you saw the content dry up on this channel. But as I said, the passion's flowing, and I'm trying to fade it back into this channel, and and start growing things here, and we could be doing lots of stuff in the future. So if you're interested in the Zep journey, that is where I'm at the moment, and thank you guys for being a part of it by watching these videos, and I hope to see you soon. Take care, much love, peace.